welcome back to the Constitutionals podcast. For the web, this is, if you don't know, this is premier podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, oh, Jesus Christ. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. Hey, I messed up that intro, but I will not be I'd not be taking this back. I ran this theme song. I was so excited. I said, yeah, you haven't done a podcast in a week. It's time. It's time to just go with the flow. Welcome back in. You might notice if you're not listening to the Constitutionals feed, this is also under the Late Night Lately feed. Unfortunately, I was unable to record last week. I had to make a decision. Had to either I was going to leave roughly on time, which I did not, for a trip, an already planned trip to a wedding that's about 4 hours away, or I was going to do a podcast that, quite frankly, not a lot of people listen to. So I decided to go with the former. And a couple of days ago, I thought, God, I have to do this Late Night Lately. I can't just leave. I can't leave the phone off the hook. I gotta, just have to go. I have to just go ahead and record it. And I thought, I have to write jokes. So here's the deal. This is the Constitutionals podcast, episode 383. I'm going to talk about, in honor of Late Night Lately, episode 99. I'm going to be talking about Colbert, the final week and the final episode. There's not going to be a monologue. Usually, if you don't listen to Late Night Lately, there's a monologue. I write a couple of jokes. They're mildly funny, and it's just me laughing at them. Nothing else. So I'm not doing jokes, even though I had setups previously written. I have 5 great setups. I'm looking at the monologue right now. Oh man, I already had 1 joke written. No, I didn't. Never mind. I had the setup, and then I had the skeleton of a punchline. I might save some of these. We'll see what happens next week. All right. So the first Late Night Lately will get the first, 15 minutes of this. So they'll get this. They'll get this general thing. Okay. Let's move on. And then I'll cut the audio after I stop talking about Colbert, because that's a late night thing. So let's get into the late night stuff. As we all know, Stephen Colbert is no longer on the airwaves. Well, he's on the public airwaves. After he left, I'll jump ahead to, was Monday? Was it? No, he left on Friday evening, I think, or Friday afternoon. When his show went off there, he went on like some public GPB. I'm going to say like a PBS station, essentially. And he hosted a late night style show there. It's a very funny joke to do. It is a very funny joke to do. I thought that was so funny. I did not watch it, but I enjoyed it. I enjoy the idea. But anyway, his final week was, I would say a banner week for television. It really stunk, even though I know I've spoken a lot about how I don't think a lot of the jokes were funny. and the things that I think that there's too many applause breaks, but he should not have been taken off the air. So that Monday show was the worst of the late show, and essentially what it was Stephen Colbert eating his lunch in front of his staff as they went through old bits and pieces of the show that they could never figure out how to work. Quite frankly, when he started eating, I said, I'm done watching. So I started skipping throughout the episode. But you can watch the whole episode on YouTube. They put out an extended version of that. Also, you can see that his staff is not very diverse, as I knew. He shouldn't have been canceled, but he hired a lot of white guys. What else happened on the second day? He sat down with Jon Stewart, and then David Byrne performed, and he also spoke to Stephen Colbert. Excuse me. He spoke to Steven Spielberg. It's very interesting. This happened with Letterman. It happened with Conan. And it happened with Trevor Noah. Well, Trevor Noah just up and left. But when they're still doing their jobs. At the end of the day, they're still doing their jobs. There was a monologue on the final episode. If I were in the final week of my show, I wouldn't do topical jokes, but they were still topical. I would do some evergreen things. It makes me think about whenever SNL whenever SNL is done, and I assume that'll happen when Lauren is done or dies. There's no chance he's passing on that show while he's alive. But whenever SNL is done, do they just like do an episode? It's like Olivia Rodrigo is the musical guest, and like the host is like Jacob Elordi. It's just like two people. That's it. Because if you look at the finale of SNL proper, it felt like a season finale. SNL Vanilla, as I call it. It felt like a season finale, but it also was just a lot of a showcase of Will Ferrell. They didn't bring back any of his characters. And I'm a fool for thinking that they would do so. They had a lot of cut sketches. A lot of stuff I probably wouldn't have cut. It would have left in place of some of the very lackluster things that made it to air. And also Paul McCartney played 2 more songs. When I saw that, I was crazy. He played Help. Will Ferrell's on Cowbell. And then for SNL UK, and I promise we'll get back to Colbert, their finale felt very big and grandiose and fun because they had the help of like Louis Theroux, and Ncuti Gatwa was game for everything. And that's not to say that Will Ferrell wasn't game for everything. Don't read the comments. People are complaining that Paul McCartney sounds bad. And then I listened to the Paul McCartney album this morning, and it was good. I enjoyed it. It's not a Jim thing. That's my problem. If there's like, I love Casey Musgraves, and I will marry her immediately. But it's very funny that I wake up on Friday mornings and I'll go to whomever's putting out a new album, new record, if they're on New Music Friday on NPR, or if they're on whatever list, whatever new albums are coming out, new records, I'll just download it and just listen to it, but I'll go to the gym and do it, and it just doesn't make sense because it's not great. It's not good music. Sometimes it's not good music to work out to. I can't wait to play that new Kurt Vile record, though. Anyway, then there was an episode that was Bruce Springsteen and the Colbert Questionnaire. Was that the final? No, the final episode was Paul McCartney. So the Colbert Questionnaire, which it was the final one, and it featured a bunch of famous people. You can guess how many people of color were there? It's one. Jim Gaffigan, De Niro, and they were all trotted out one after another, kind of like how Letterman did his final top 10 list. Josh Brolin, Weird Al Yankovic, Billy Crystal, Mark Hamill, Martha Stewart, Jeff Daniels, Tiffany Haddish, Emmy Sedaris, Ben Stiller, Aubrey Plaza, James Taylor, and John Dickerson was the moderator. If you don't know who John Dickerson is, he's an excellent news personality who was also unceremoniously let go from CBS. And Evie Colbert, his wife. And you better believe I was counting how many people of color were going to be there. It echoed how many people of color worked for him. Anyway, they also had a very interesting series finale, cold open, intro, cold open, you idiot, featuring every late night host. There's a program that the news, and I think media in general, but the news particularly works with, that you can go into that program on your computer, on the computers, on the work computers, and you can type in anything that Trump said. Like if he ever said the words, they let you do that when you're famous, which he did. You can go to this program and type that in, and then they'll find every clip of him ever saying that. And I assume that's how they found clips of Jon Stewart, John Oliver, Chelsea Handler, Andy Cohen, Jack Benny, Steve Allen, Jack Parr, and every other person who's ever hosted a late night show. From Carson to Arsenio Hall, from Joan Rivers to Jay Leno. Like truly every single person who's ever hosted a late night show. And they got them to say very nice words, like one word at a time. Like this is the final episode of Colbert Show. It was a good week. I don't know why I closed out of that, the YouTube channel. It was a good week, and it was bittersweet, and the end of it was very fun because you got to see Paul McCartney and Elvis Costello and John Baptiste came back. The only other band leader, the other person that Stephen Colbert could never get a rapport with. I hope John and Louis sat down, Louis Cato, and they sat down and said, so we never had a conversation with Colbert, right? And every time he talked to us, it seemed like it was an accident. But it ended with basically a 10-minute sketch about a wormhole opening up. It seemed like it was shot at disparate times, like throughout the past couple of weeks, because it featured different guests from the past couple of weeks. It was very funny. I enjoyed the sketch. It did not seem like the audience did, but everybody sang at the end of that Paul McCartney song, and then they all disappeared into a wormhole. It was very funny, very engaging. Now let's get on to this piece of business. This comes from NPR, written by Eric Deggans, friend of the show, Eric Deggans. I interviewed him a couple of years ago. Interesting. Here's an interesting thing about him. He spoke for so long that he went over the 40-minute limit I had for Zoom. The meeting ended. I called him back immediately. I emailed. I was like, please. And he goes, I guess I talked for too long. And I was like, no, it's fine. We can keep going. Literally in that last minute, I had my wallet in front of me trying to buy more time with Zoom. For 20 years, Stephen Colbert distinguished truth from truthiness. Now, this is just a wide, encompassing coverage piece about Stephen Colbert's legacy on television. 20 years, more than 3,000 episodes, 2 TV networks. Everything from The Daily Show to The Colbert Report to this. You should definitely check it out. I think it's an interesting piece. If you don't know anything, then you'll learn something. You'll learn that what Colbert was trying to tell his audience, that he's more than just the Colbert Report. But I think his legacy will probably be the Colbert Report. It was a show, and it's the only one successful one to do it. It was a show to, like, the only one to popularly, successfully lampoon what Fox News has done. Jordan Klepper does technically do that at The Daily Show now, but his spinoff did not succeed for a reason, because it was too real. It was way too real at that point. Whereas the Colbert Report, it felt like it was a cartoon of an already cartoon thing. And then for Jordan Klepper's show, it was just, when when they spun that off from the Daily Show, it was just way too much for the populace. You know what? It still is. They can never find something to follow up the Daily Show with. I still think they should do the nightly show. It's too late, though. Bring it back. Bring back the nightly show. Anyway, Colbert's going to be fine. Unfortunately, it seems that the Comics Unleashed hour that Byron Allen now it's already premiered. Well, the show's been going on, but he already premiered in that time slot. It seems that hour is already doing what CBS wants it to do. In that, it's not costing them a dime. Allen is selling the ad time, and they've already recouped $15 million, which is just proves that's all they want. That's all what they wanted. All right, that's it for this episode of Late Night Lately / The Constitutionals. So I'll be moving on to the Constitutionals part, and yeah, that's it. Do I do the ending part here and then just move on to the Constitutionals? No, I'm just going to end it right here. Okay, Chad, when you're editing this, don't cut this out. End it now.